Aunt Chick begins with a scene of a woman, 85, a cluttered room in a cluttered mansion on the near south side of Tulsa. Nearby, a carved old-fashioned fireplace, and above it, and always looking down, a portrait of a man named Sam McBurney. He and his brother James founded the Bank of Commerce and built the McBurney Building in Tulsa. Sam McBurney had a wife who lives on after him in less than perfect health. Her name is Nettie. And years ago, when Nettie McBurney wrote a daily cooking column in the Tulsa World, the byline always read, Aunt Chick.
Little boys welcome marble time with whoops of joy. The big boys hustle through their Saturday jobs and rush with all the fervor of youth over to the stadium with the first football game of the season. But we women have to take our enthusiasms out on our accomplishments. You who have never had the thrill of holding a glass of jelly in the sunlight and seeing it quiver and tremble and glow like a jewel, oh, you just do not know what you have missed.
It's very poetic, very nice. But your husband was a banker. You didn't have to write a column for the paper or tell people how to cook.
Forgotten, that's Depression.
That was during the Depression then?
That was the Depression.
I see.
And everybody got it. And if they didn't get it, they were scared to death. In the bank, it was a matter of everything that any depositor in the bank was affected by, affected the banker. If you were older and could remember how many banks failed, you would know how nice it would feel to have something in your background that you could do, because it paid no attention whether you were a banker or what you were. You had to take what came to you.
What did your husband think about your activities in home economics?
Very proud of me.
He was?
Very proud of me.
Before the Depression, before the column, before Sam, before Tulsa, there was South Dakota. I was born in 1887 in a snowstorm on a tree farm in South Dakota, Aunt Chick told me. From there to high school somewhere in Minnesota, from there to Wisconsin, where a daring and pretty girl named Nettie undertook to learn a brand new course of study and emerged a home economics person. That's how she describes herself.
Women who, when their husbands were gone, had nothing to do. And I have never yet come to the moment that I have nothing to do. And it has all started with my home economics training. When I finally decided to take the home economics, I had had 1 year at the University of Chicago. Then I went on to Stout Institute at Menominee, Wisconsin. And Mr. Stout was a very wealthy lumberman up there, and he had started this school. That was the beginning of home economics in the United States.
The Depression taught Aunt Chick to scramble, and her cooking column soon became her cooking gadgets, and that's where our story begins, really. Aunt Chick will now tell you how to make non-stick pastry, the way she told a frustrated pre-frozen food generation of pastry buffs from New York to California.
I knew that I could teach anyone to make a pie if they'd do what I told them to and buy some of the things they needed and be interested in it.
What did you tell them to do? Did you just say, well, I'm going to not only tell people how they can make pies, but I'm going to give them the tools? Is that what you did?
Sell them the tools.
What are some of the tools?
Pastry cloth to start with. You can always get a good one. Get mine.
Could we see?
Oh, yeah. Here it is. Once you see what a nice big one is, you can make some of the foreign light doughs.
So how do you use that thing?
You rub flour into it, just like that.
Rub it in there.
You can pick it up like that. You can shake it out, but it doesn't shake out without an effort. Roll it in.
Yeah.
And then we have the cover to the rolling pin. And silly as it sounds, you can't buy these things.
Except from you.
Except for me. In fact, I had to hunt and hunt before I could get one that was firm enough to stand up and do the job. And when I did, I had to bite 3,000 pounds at a time.
I see. And so you cut it into squares and packaged it along
Yeah.
with the rolling pin cover and the instructions, and you were on your way.
And there, now that's one of the nicest things that I have. I've got the picture of every step.
Ah,
And here on the other side, we've got some of the gadgets. And,
Aunt Chick's non-stick pastry kit was a huge success, all word of mouth and demonstrated by Aunt Chick herself in places like Macy's in Manhattan. That was in the 40s, and for several years Aunt Chick maintained her energetic pace, teaching, demonstrating, selling her home economics gadgets, as she calls them. Finally, she had to quit, and it was while Aunt Chick was running a solid mail-order business out of her home in Tulsa that she came upon her next great scheme. Aunt Chick was now into 3D cookie cutters.
everybody loves red. I'm telling you, I don't think I could sell as many if I'd make my blue or green. But
Tell me about some of these cookie cutters.
well, this is my happy days, all right through the year. Here's the clown, snowman, he's a dumpling, and the jack-o'-lantern, and there's the Easter bunny. And when she's all dressed up, she is something to rave about. Then here's my Indian. I come from Oklahoma, and Indians were brand new to me too. But isn't he beautiful?
Have you got a Christmas cookie?
You're telling me.
Christmas cookie cutter there?
As long, I hope Santa Claus never dies. It would be terrible to start with.
Oh, there's the Santa Claus.
There's my Santa Claus. And what we do is use the half raisins for his eyes. Have to be cut a certain way. And one of the things that I've had to work with by myself, I can make a Christmas red in coloring. There may be some others in the country, but they don't do it. And we use the bright, bright Christmas red. It can't be blue and it can't be yellow. And
Aunt Chick has never advertised her gadgets, really. She topped the list in last year's Yellow Pages under cookies and crackers. Aunt Chick's Cameo Cookie Cutters, it says. Merry Christmas Cookie Cutters, Happy Days Cookie Cutters, Flower Garden, Party Size. For orders, write Box 3687. But I've noticed that in the new phone book, Aunt Chick isn't there. Instead, the biggies crowd the space, Keebler, Nabisco, Sunshine, and the like. It might be that she simply feels she's done her job, made her contribution, and wants to rest. Feel free, she wrote in one of her instruction sheets in 1940, feel free to ask me anything you wish along the line of baking. If interested in better nutrition, ask me for my folder on the subject. You should be interested if you aren't already. Signed, Aunt Chick.